It's amazing to see everybody here from DC television tonight. It's kind of crazy to have the universe represented like this. So I'm going to ask some questions for a bit, and then we're going to turn over to you guys and get some questions from the audience. I'm going to start with some Gotham questions. So Bruno, start with you. And Danny, so Gotham, where did this all come from? Why start with the death of the Waynes? Where did you spark that idea?
Origin stories are my favorite part of the mythology of the DC universe and origin stories in general. So when I started talking with Jeff about doing something in the DC universe, it was just natural to me to start thinking from the start of the process and what is more sort of iconic and seminal than the death of the Waynes.
And Danny, where'd you get the, what was your inspiration for the vision of the show? It's so spectacular. It's just a beautiful, majestic cinematic show. Where did you, what did you draw from the lore?
It was a dream come true as far as the director's concerned. And it was a dream of Gotham, a city that I always wished I could have visited as a kid. The comic books I read, the movies that I saw, we just had to go back in time and imagine what that decrepit, decaying, corrupt city was like from the very beginning. And I just started sketching, and it went from there.
And Ben, so you're like the only good cop in Gotham right now.
That's
and
right.
Donald, you're a pretty bad cop in Gotham. So are you going to drag Gordon down, or is Gordon going to pick you up?
I think we're going to meet in the middle, probably, right? Yeah, Harvey's, Harvey knows how the city works, and Jim believes he knows how the city ought to work. And between those two worlds is Gotham.
It's hard not to love Ben, so it's...
Oh, wow. Hey, how you doing? All right.
He's such a do-gooder, he kind of pulls him to a little bit the other side of the equation.
So speaking of the cops, we'll go to the villains. Jada, so you're one of the most charismatic people on screen. And in this, you bring a real seductive quality, like you do right now, to everything. So what's it like playing this villain who Bruno, you created, it's a brand new character, so you can really do whatever you want. We don't know what the outcome of this character is. What's that like?
It's a very unique experience. And, to be part of a franchise like this and have the opportunity to collaborate with someone like Bruno, Danny, to create this character has just been amazing.
And Robin? So everyone has saw the Penguin. I think this is the most brilliant representation of the Penguin ever. It's really, and I've read the scripts that Bruno and his crew are doing, and it's extremely twisted. Thanks, Fox, for letting us get away with that. So what's your inspiration for Oswald Cobblepot? Because this is a very different Penguin than I think anyone's ever seen. How much makeup is on there?
There's a lot of makeup on me. It's a lot. I mean, you wouldn't think so. It's very subtle, and I actually really like that. I mean, not to say that, not to say that I'm not doing anything, but once they put all the stuff on, I feel like half my work is done. I just feel like all the pieces come together, and it's just, we're there, yeah.
Okay, so David, little Bruce Wayne. So, first off, we were saying how jealous your friends are that you get to be a Batman in training. How old do you think you're going to have to be before you put on that costume?
I think Batman becomes Batman when he's 25. I think so. So, hopefully this show will run until I'm 25. Fingers crossed.
And Carmen, Cameron, so you're brilliant, Selena. You're like a little Michelle Pfeiffer, so cute. So you guys are both really young. So where did you first get introduced to Catwoman, and did you know the character prior to this, and what did you look to for research?
Well, I looked to the comics and the Batman show with Adam West for research. I saw some movies too, but other than that, mostly the show and the comics.
Well, what are you most excited about with Selena?
Oh, I'm excited about everything. She's really mysterious, and you don't really know what she's thinking all the time or whether she's thinking anything at all. You know, she's a cat lover. I'm a cat lover. I feel like we could be best friends. You know?
Good.
So yeah.
So I'm going to go back to the man who kind of started this all, the powder keg, Stephen Amell, who really with Greg and Andrew and Mark created Arrow and kicked off what made this all possible. So thank you so much for that, guys. So Stephen, like Mr. Al Ghul, that's cool.
Yeah.
You guys like that? That's going to be awesome. So tell them a little bit about season 3 and what's in store for Oliver.
So season 3 for all of our characters is really about identity, and can Oliver be Oliver Queen and be the Arrow? Can he do it both at the same time? Does he have to pick? And we're presented with a bunch of scenarios in the pilot, in the premiere, that forces him to make a decision.
When you were first thinking about Arrow, Greg, did you think that you would build a show this big and spin off something like The Flash? And what was that process like for you, creating this universe?
Well, first, I just want to say, I think on behalf of so many people here, thank you guys for coming out tonight. We're so... It's past my bedtime. I don't know if it's past your bedtime. I especially want to thank this little gentleman in the front row who I think is falling asleep. I feel bad for him. Anyway. So no, we were so excited upstairs because I think so many of us love the characters and love these worlds as much as you do, and we really do go to work every day and pinch ourselves. I mean, we started just with the hope to do to make an Arrow show that we would want to watch. And that's sort of been our commitment throughout.
Mark, I know you're a big nerd too. So can you tell us a little bit about some more of the characters from the DC Universe that'll be showing up this season on Arrow?
Yeah, we've got Tatsu Yamashiro, who is, everyone knows, becomes Katana. We've got Brandon Routh playing Ray Palmer, who everyone knows becomes the Atom. We've got a little guy named Ra's al Ghul, who we've been hearing about for a couple of years. We're finally going to get a chance to see him in the flesh. And there'll be one other DC character who we haven't announced yet.
Can you or not?
What? Should we do it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Ted Grant, Wildcat.
Oh, what?
Coming aboard the show. And it's going to have a little interaction with Laurel. Let's just say that.
Oh. Okay, so you forgot one. We saw this image was released, I think, last week. Arsenal, Colton Haynes. Yes. So, Colton, what's it feel like to join the ranks of the costumed superheroes?
It's freaking awesome. I mean, you can't really, until you guys see this costume in its entirety, it's the coolest costume in the world. And they gave me a butt. Like, I have a really nice butt in the costume, so I'm really excited about that. But really, it's just really cool to, join Team Arrow and to be part of such a great team, Feels like a family.
And so Black Canary, how is it to play? Your Black Canary is such a badass.
Pretty cool, right?
She is pretty cool.
She's badass.
So I know the character's coming back. Can you say anything about how it's been to play Black Canary and what you were inspired by for this character? She's so wounded and tortured.
Yeah. Well, of course, I read some Birds of Prey comics and the Black Canary comics, which, of course, are written by our wonderful writers over here. And mostly I just took it from, like she has a really dark past. And I think that makes her character so strong, but she's so vulnerable with her connection with her family and stuff. So it's been fun. And getting to wear that costume is like, I mean, come on, it's pretty fun.
We like when you wear that costume.
Well, thank you.
John, so Dark Archer. Malcolm Merlin, we saw him return, surprisingly. What's his plan this season? Is he? Because he's a villain, but he's got this strange heroic quality too. So in your mind, who is this guy?
In my eyes, if I'm speaking from Malcolm himself, I'm as much a hero as Oliver Queen is, actually. That's the way I see it. And
Best love ever.
but what's really going to be exciting is who he's going to face up to this season. What is going to happen? The whole relationship between Malcolm and his daughter Thea, and what's going to happen, and how it's going to be the most amazing, the most fantastically dysfunctional father-daughter relationship on television ever. And I cannot wait to get my teeth into it. It's going to be awesome, yeah.
And are you going to teach Willa how to shoot a arrow?
You're just going to have to watch.
Okay.
You never know. I'll teach her a few things. Yeah.
I'm scared. I'm really scared right now, guys.
Don't be, darling. I'll take care of you.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to transition a little over to Flash, and I'm going to use it with Emily. Tell us the definitive answer. Is it going to be Oliver and Felicity, or is it going to be Barry and Felicity?
Whoa. What about Ray Palmer?
Ah.
We just talked, and he's a man, too. We had...
No, he's hot.
Let me backtrack and... Gosh, I work with these guys every day. This is real bad. We have Barry's intellect and Oliver's intellect. I'm just digging myself in a hole. This is where Felicity and I this is where we zone, because I like...
This is where you're
Yeah,
exactly
really.
like Felicity.
I don't know. I am very lucky that I get to transition over to The Flash, and in episodes to come, we can all look forward to such. Yes. I'm very, very excited. I don't even have to leave the lot to do it, which is great. It'll be really, really fun. But I am not sure. In terms of love interest, I don't know. Are they interested in Felicity at a certain point? Who knows? I mean, it's all going to change. We deal with life and death every day. When it comes, I'm serious, we do. Every day.
So on the brighter side
On the brighter side of life.
of love, Andrew, I know you're like it's so funny because your arrows can be so dark, and yet you're the guy that walks around with a smile on his face all the time, and you constantly pitch jokes. Because for Flash, I think the heart of it is really something that you helped bring out. Obviously, it's from you, and you really got your hands into Felicity as a character and created that voice with Greg and everyone else. But why so much humor in the Flash? Why change that when you developed that?
Did you want to take it?
No,
I can do it. Do you? Okay. First of all, we were just very conscious of not wanting to make the same show twice, and we assumed you guys didn't want to watch two hours of the same show every week, and so whereas Arrow has a much darker quality to it, with Flash, we wanted to do something a little lighter, a little brighter, a little bit more blue sky, and Barry Allen has always sort of had that. If you read the comics, he's always been a lighter character, and there's always been a lot more humor. So we were just really excited to explore that aspect of it. And of course I walk around with a smile on my face. Oliver Queen, Barry Allen, Bruce Wayne, John Constantine. I mean, this is ridiculous. So,
So Grant, there is obviously some darkness and tragedy we saw in the Flash's past and that pilot, and yet you bring such a joy and optimism to the character. He's got a hopeful outlook. Where do you find that balance for you when you're playing Barry Allen? Like, what do you draw from for that?
Oh, God, I mean, I love Barry. I love him, and he's full of hope, he's full of optimism, which is the part that I can definitely relate to. I try to be optimistic in my life. I think we'd go crazy with this career if we aren't optimistic. So that's something I can draw from. And as far as the emotional depth of the character, I mean, that's what my favorite part of being an actor is, just digging as deep as I can. I mean, that's when I have the most fun, is just kind of the emotional rawness of the character. So I mean, I love that there's both sides to it. He's an idiot and he's a dork and it's hilarious, but he's brilliant, and he does have, there's a lot of depth to him, and it's just, he's a very genuine character that I love playing, and I think that's why he's easy to relate to, because he's just so genuine.
Yeah, and you know, he's in this too. You play off Jesse so well, that relationship between Barry and Detective Joe West. So great. So Jesse, I know that like superheroes probably wasn't the first thing you think you'd do next after everything else you've done. Why did you say yes to Flash? How did that happen?
Well, I obviously played a detective before. Thank you. But when I met Andrew and Greg in New York, they sat down and they pitched to me like two puppies that had to pee and couldn't go outside. And they were so excited about the whole thing, and they saw me fitting in way more than I saw myself fitting in, that I was like, I'd be stupid not to consider this at least. And I was like, well, let me just read something. And when I read it, I was like, this is absolutely amazing, and I have to do it. And as long as I played a detective, I never got to shoot anything. And we're only in the beginning of things, and I didn't shot a lot of people.
So the other father figure, we're really glad you're on the show, Jesse. You're amazing. The other father figure who's an actor, he played the Flash before, John Wesley Shipp. Amazing actor. We were talking earlier, like, there was no Comic-Con like it is now when the Flash TV show was originally on. So this is pretty different, I assume, from your experience the first time around.
Yeah, we shot till 9 a.m. one Saturday morning, and they said we need to go down to San Diego. And I think we walked through a convention hall and signed a few autographs and took a few pictures. And the whole thing took about 2 hours. This is very different.
Yeah. So Tom, what's the deal, man? You stepped up out of that wheelchair.
You tell me, Jeff. You tell me, Jeff Johns. What is the deal?
What is the deal? So what's Dr. Wells' interest in the Flash? Can you delve into that a little bit? How's he know all this stuff?
Say
nothing.
Yeah. You heard Kreisberg, right? Say nothing. This is like, yeah, I'm caught in a tough place. I will say that sometimes, Jeff, in the comic book world, people are not always exactly what they appear to be.
I've heard that.
Yeah, that happens occasionally. And this might be one of those instances. Certainly, Barry has three mentor figures. He's got his real father, played by John, Jesse, the man who brought him up, and then once he gets struck by lightning, he's got a guy who has a vested interest. I play that guy, and you know more than me, so quit asking me the questions.
Sorry, I had to torture you a little bit.
Understood. You owe me, though.
Candace, so we know where your character's going, obviously coming up in Flash, but you know the character from the comic books.
Yeah.
She's a reporter. So where's Iris going to go, and how is her relationship with Barry going to stay the same, change?
Well, I mean, what I love about Iris is, something that we all look for in our lives. We're always looking for that person who's kind of our true north and our best friend. And I think Iris is that for Barry, and that's fun to play. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how their relationship evolves once he's got these superpowers and she learns that not only is Barry her best friend and her father keeping the secret from her, how she deals with that family dynamic and how that changes her relationship with not only her father, but someone that she's considered her best friend her entire life. it's going to be a little tricky. It's exciting to see how that's going to happen. I'm at Comic-Con, guys.
You just realized that. You've been here 3 days.
Oh my God. Thanks for inviting me.
So, David, where's Mr. Goyer? Hey, David. So you guys know David. He wrote all those kick-ass Batman movies. Man of Steel. He made the first good Marvel movie with Blade. So David, I know when you sat down and talked to everybody about what you wanted to do in television, you had your choice of basically anything you could do. So after Batman and Superman, why John?
He doesn't have any spandex, which is kind of nice. Doesn't have any superpowers. And we joke that, like, if he, first he'll try to throw a spell, and if that doesn't work, he might try to pick a fight, and if that doesn't work, he might try to do a con. If that doesn't work, he'll try to kick the guy in the balls. And if that doesn't work, he'll just run. And that's like a fun character to write after all this time.
Yeah, very different than Superman.
Yeah.
So Daniel, when you guys were casting the show, what made you land on Matt Ryan, who's tremendous and he's Constantine in body? But how did you know that you had found him?
I have to say that I don't know if an actor has ever worked harder for. Where's Matt? I don't even see him. I don't know if an actor has ever worked harder for this role than Matt Ryan did. We got one self-tape in from this guy who's working with Jude Law and Henry V. And you should have seen the tape we had. First of all, he was about 10 pounds lighter than he is now. He had dark hair, long, slicked back, completely to his skull, and he had a beard. And he looked like Sasquatch. It was this wide, and it was...
David
he
actually
looked like a
said
Hasidic
I was
Jew.
But like the $6 million man Sasquatch.
But here's the thing. I mean, and I don't know if it's a Shakespearean training. I don't know what it is. But he said the lines, and you could see it in his eyes, and you could see it in the way he owned it. He looked nothing like this now, but it was like, this is John Constantine.
What kind of research did you do for this character? Because he's very unique, obviously, and you embody him perfectly. So what'd you do to get there?
I read one comic and then just carried on delving deeper and deeper. And after I got the role, I just kind of gleaned as much as I could from the comics, and I'm still reading them. I mean, there's a lot to get through, so I'm still reading and still searching and still trying to get under John's flesh, and yeah.
There are any other DC characters? I know the answer, but I'd love to hear it from you. Any other DC characters going to show up in the series?
Yeah, I think there are, right? There's Jim Corrigan.
Corrigan, and obviously he turns into the Spectre.
Yep.
Helmet of Dr. Fate shows up in the pilot, so...
Yeah, there's lots of Easter eggs in there, and we've obviously got Zed, played by the beautiful
Angelica. Papa Midnight's showing up in a few episodes. We'll be rolling out a number.
Cool. Well, I'm going to open up to fan questions. I don't know where the mic is, but we can take a few questions. We don't have a lot of time, but we'll take a few questions.
Well, we wanted to have one of his most iconic villains in the pilot, so but we also knew that we wanted Jesse to shoot him. Fortunately in the comics, Mark Martin has a brother, Clyde. So, somebody was obviously flying the plane that we saw Clyde Martin jump into. So there is another weather wizard out there, and we will see him one day. We were very conscious of, we weren't just doing a show about the Flash. We were doing a show about the Flash and everyone in that comic book, and Central City, and Iris, and Joe, and and all the villains. Because the Rogues, especially all the work that our very handsome moderator tonight, Jeff Johns, has done in comics, over the last 15 years, and building up the Rogues gallery. So we're very blessed. Wentworth Miller is going to be playing Captain Cold in episode 4. Which will also be the first appearance of Felicity on The Flash. And the others will they'll get rolled out one by one.
You will get a glimpse of another one in episode 4.
That's true.
Yeah, and you will see Grodd. That cage was not there by mistake. We heard you guys. Next, please.
for me, this is like completely surreal. I grew up loving this genre of, like, I wasn't a comic book fan necessarily growing up, but I was a huge fan of the Christopher Reeve Superman franchise and all those movies. And so this, but I also grew up doing musical theater and like tap dancing, and grew up in Virginia. So I mean, this is not only something that it's not a dream come true. It's something I could have never fathomed. And when I got to put the suit on for the first time, I mean, it blew my. That's me right there, and it's nuts. It's insane. I'm having the time of my life. So it's incredible.
Thanks, Connor.
Thank you. Well, Gotham is kind of takes, I mean, Bruno, you can talk about that a little bit. It kind of takes place, it's kind of in the past, but also in the present.
Yeah, that's a good question. Again, I would say never say never. I think at the moment, both shows are new, and one of the things about creating a TV show is you're trying to create and find the tone of the show. And if those two worlds, if those two DC worlds coincide, then it would work. But as you say, I'm not really clear about the chronology with how Constantine interacts. Maybe Constantine is only 5 or something in this universal, and that wouldn't be very entertaining. But yeah,
or would it?
Say never. Yeah, you could come up with a story of that.
Yeah.
Time travel. There you go.
That'll fit right in with Gotham.
I mean, what do you expect me to say? I would win.
Yeah.
Choose your words carefully, okay?
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Actually, our episode 8 this year of Flash is called Flash versus Arrow. So you'll be able to find out, I think.
I feel very fortunate and proud to play such an intelligent, well-written woman on television. And so grateful every day. She has a really special place in my heart, and I'm really glad that she resonated with you and anyone else. Thank you.
Yeah, and I don't know if I could express any more how much I love playing this character. So I mean, it's just everything resonates with me. Every day I love this character more. Every script I get, I love this character more. He just has a lot of heart, and I just love playing the character. Thank you.
Well,
take it off. Take it off.
I think my dad wants your shirt off.
Tune in on Wednesday
I think we should have a vote. I think the panel should vote. I'm up for it. Let's go. Vote. Let's vote. Anyone wants?
Wednesday nights. All right, that we cannot top that question. So give it up for DC Television, the stars of DC TV.